spoiler-free, as short as we can possibly make it, book review show where I hopefully will tell you about a few books you might not have heard of before, or perhaps a book you passed on because it seemed not your style and might change your mind a little bit. So let's jump right in. This book has a great title, The Satan Factory. How awesome is that? And it's a Lobster Johnson adventure book. Lobster Johnson, believe it or not, is not the name of an OnlyFans account. Lobster Johnson is the strange little throwaway side character, Mike Mignola. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, sorry. The great comic book artist who created Hellboy.
Get out of here, Blue.
Yes, come with me, Your Highness.
You. Let me put this to you as delicately as I can.
He had this one adventure where he just threw in this pulpy 1920s, 1930s style, kind of back then, not really a superhero, but only kind of, more one of those dark Avenger, the Shadow kind of guys. Threw it into the story. Just this minor character there and gone, basically. But for whatever weird reason, Lobster Johnson became popular, and me too. When I first read about it, I was like, that's such a dumb name. He's kind of a cool character in like this silly, pulpy way. So they've actually written a whole bunch of stories that are about Hellboy or take place in the Hellboy universe or whatever you want to call it. And I've actually read a few of them. They're pretty good. And you even have some currently really successful authors who got their start there originally. It's such a rich mythos to explore. And Mike Mignola laid such good groundwork for that sort of dark, Lovecraftian, but also kind of wry pulp adventure sort of feeling behind it. So just absolutely brilliant. This book was a fun book to read. Nothing that's going to be too amazing. I feel like it's just long enough. If it had went on much longer, I probably would have gotten bored, honestly. Because as cool as Lobster Johnson is, I don't know if he can really carry too long of a book by himself. It does flip back and forth to the bad guy's point of view quite often, so that helped. And Lobster Johnson has his own supporting cast, that helps too. But as a hero, he's just so dark and dour and serious and very inhuman in a lot of ways. If you've seen him before in the comics or whatever, you kind of get that from him then too, which is fine. But he's one of those characters that really does, in my opinion, work better as a supporting character rather than the main character. Hellboy can carry his own comic because he has real personality besides just, his physicality and everything and the lore behind him and all that kind of stuff. Although even Hellboy, honestly, his best adventures are when he has some supporting cast and when he meets the crazy Mike Mignola creations that are drawn from real fantasy and everything. So for this story, I would say characters, pretty good. Lobster Johnson's a fun character, but a little bit dry for a main lead, basically. And besides him, the other characters are fine, but nobody really stands out to me that much. The villain was fine, served his purpose well, did his stuff. Okay, there you go. As far as the themes in this book, the themes, the very typical pulpy theme for villains. Be careful what you wish for. Being greedy for too much power just brings about your own destruction. That sort of typical stuff. Lobster Johnson, in your quest for justice, your ironclad black and white quest for justice, are you sure there's no room for gray areas? Because you might alienate people that could help you. You might end up accidentally hurting innocents because of your obsession, stuff like that. It kind of gets into that, not too deep though, which again, it shouldn't. This is a pulp novel. It's a modern day dime store novel adventure. And if that seems like, that's something up your alley, give it a try. You'll finish it probably in a day or two because it's such a quick read. It's usually pretty fun, fast-paced, lots of action, that pulpy style. So sure, I recommend it. As long as you're not looking for anything too deep, it works for what it is. It's fine. First thing, I'm wearing my Firefly Run t-shirt that I got a long time ago, back when I was running a lot more and I was in a whole lot better shape, way before quarantine. And this was a race that I did down in Atlanta, and it was one of those glow kind of races. If you're interested in that sort of stuff, running in general, but also stuff like kind of visually cool stuff like the glow races, check out my travel YouTube channel. The link's below in the description if you're into that kind of stuff. If you want to know more about movies, including bad movies, but in a different way, I promise. It's not another, let's make fun of the bad movies. I also run a good bad movie podcast. That's also another YouTube channel. And like I said, it's not what you think. So give it a try. Last sort of thing. The book I'm reading right now is, I realized the other day, to my shock and chagrin, I had never finished the Riverworld novels. I got into them a long time ago, back in like college. Read like the first two, and then life happened, traveled around the world, got a different job, and then just forgot about Riverworld, which is a real shame because it is definitely Philip Jose Farmer's best work, and that is high praise because he is a truly prolific and gifted science fiction fantasy writer. But Riverworld's amazing. I'll do a whole series review once I'm done with the series. Okay, our time is up, and I hope you all are getting some good reading done. If you're on quarantine or whenever you have some downtime, in these cold winter months, it's a great time to sit inside with a warm book. And I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Blah, 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 typical YouTube stuff here at the end. And everybody, take care. I'll see you again for another book review. So long.